I might like to call this a given or the given. Obviously, consciousness exists in some way, shape, or form. If I wasn't conscious, if you weren't conscious, assuming assuming someone is listening to this, this wouldn't make any sense at all. So, theory of everything. I might like to imagine that it would have to begin with consciousness, with someone, a probably so-called individual, being conscious. To presume or assume that consciousness is some sort of epiphenomena, that's kind of a funny place to start. I could see ending up that way if somebody begins someplace else. Yeah, that could make sense. But actually, in reality, from our perception, from my perspective, I'm conscious, I'm aware. But I wouldn't immediately jump to some sort of a idea, a notion in an ocean that consciousness is the ground of being. I would rather say consciousness is the ground of perception. I'm able to perceive because I am conscious. Now, as soon as I say because, I've invoked a paradigm, a cause-effect paradigm. As a tool, it can be a mighty fine tool. As a paradigm, it might have its limits. Probably does. It's what I'd call carving the uncarved block. Tao. In all simplicity, Tao is not carved. It's simply simple. It's not even an it. To say Tao is an it, already that's going too far. So forget about Tao, ignore Tao, pretend as if Tao does not exist. Consciousness exists. What does that mean? It's an assertion. 2 words. Consciousness exists. What does it mean to exist? To be. Consciousness is. Well, already I've got a noun and a verb. Might be a complete sentence, express a complete thought. I might like to take issue with what the word is means. So it might be better to say consciousness appears. From peer to peer, P-I-E-R to P-E-E-R. Well, now I've got at least 2, possibly 3. The block has been carved, if not well rounded. So, what am I trying to say? How am I going to get from consciousness in order to determine? Well, if I want to determine something, that might invoke a kind of determinism. Science, in terms of quantum physics, seems to have reached a point where there are indeterminacies and probabilities, superpositions, and other states to juggle things with. Point particles and waves. That's a fine fix. It's a powerful fix, but it kind of needles me. Yea, verily, camels and eyes. So, is there a temple? Is one's body a temple? Is there anybody home in the temple? A body within a body? A soul, so to speak? A spirit? There could be said to be a spirit of science. Many spirits could be said to be and discerned. Lots of levels and layers. Lots of lines upon lines. Lots of beams in the balance and motes around motes. And some of them float and some are all wet. So what about this theory of everything on a magic carpet wide? Is it doomed from the get-go? Will it ever get off the ground or plumb the depths? I don't really know at this point. I can point to how I am conscious and unconscious. I've always been rather unconscious. Watts once said that it's the unconscious that is conscious. That's quite a sculpture he had there, carved out of the uncarved rock of ages. Was there a God of an age? What does it matter, all this energy stuff? Why theorize about everything? It would seem, SEAM, to arise out of nothing, or ORE, to arise out of everything. To think there are things, everything and nothing, that might be a thought that's gone too far. Now I don't know what to think. Those who are conscious can set up experiments and see how their experiments set the stage for determining what occurs. Some people are more determined than others. I like to think I'm free. That's a good thought. One person I know, a guy named No Name, persists in his presupposition that free will, free choice, is what exists, along with some other stuff. Metaphysicians certainly vary. Of that I am certain. Spiritual realms, how to discern them, that can be a gift. Something to be found in the present. As the present unfolds itself, at times it may speak to one. Immediately, there again, there's at least three. Chuang Tzu, he liked to soar. I like to think he felt free and was. And, at times, he still is. He is still. When one is still, still there may remain stillness and silence, out of which one arises and sounds arise. Arose is a rose is a rose.